Here's something surprising. Even while you sleep, especially while you sleep, your body is making decisions about whether to build muscle or break it down. And those decisions are not just shaped by how hard you train or how much protein you eat during the day. They're heavily influenced by what you eat and when, particularly in the final 90 minutes before sleep. Most people focus on what happens in the gym, but muscle preservation and growth are not just determined by the weights you lift. They're largely determined by your internal chemistry while you sleep. And this chemistry is highly influenced by your nighttime nutrition. Here's what the research shows. During deep sleep, your body enters a powerful state of repair and regeneration. Growth hormone peaks, muscle protein synthesis, the process of building muscle fibers, is elevated. But if your body lacks the right amino acids, or if blood sugar and insulin are unstable, your system will shift toward catabolism, the breakdown of muscle tissue, rather than preservation or growth. This is especially critical for people over 40, where age declines in anabolic hormones like testosterone and IGF-1 are already working against you. The body naturally leans more catabolic with age, meaning it breaks down muscle faster and builds it slower. And one of the hidden culprits, poor nighttime fueling. What's happening in your brain and body at night is astonishing. There are coordinated hormonal rhythms, nutrient signaling pathways, and even neurotransmitter changes that determine whether your body wakes up stronger or slightly weaker each morning. One of the biggest levers you can pull to tilt the balance in your favor, pre-sleep nutrition. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what to eat before bed to reduce overnight muscle loss and even promote muscle gain, supported by cutting-edge findings from neuroscience, endocrinology, and sports physiology. First, I invite you to like the video, share it with someone who cares about their health, and subscribe to this channel because daily we're diving deeper into neuroscience, psychology, and performance tools to help you become stronger physically, emotionally, and mentally. Let's dive in. If you've ever wondered whether the type of protein you eat before bed really matters, the answer, backed by science, is a resounding yes. Let's start with a crucial physiological reality. When you sleep, you enter a prolonged fasted state. For most people, that's 7 to 9 hours without food. During this time, if your body runs out of circulating amino acids, the building blocks of protein, it begins pulling them from muscle tissue. In other words, it starts breaking down your own muscle to fuel essential functions. This is where casein protein stands out as a uniquely powerful tool. Casein is one of the two primary proteins found in milk, the other being whey. While whey is digested quickly and spikes amino acid levels within 30 to 60 minutes, casein behaves very differently. It forms a gel-like substance in the stomach, which slows digestion and provides a steady release of amino acids into the bloodstream over roughly 6 to 8 hours. What does that mean for your muscle tissue? It means your body stays in an anabolic or muscle-preserving state throughout the night. A key study from Maastricht University in the Netherlands, led by Dr. Luc van Loon, demonstrated this beautifully. In the study, researchers gave participants 40 grams of casein protein right before bed after an evening workout. The results showed a significant increase in overnight muscle protein synthesis compared to a placebo, meaning their bodies continued building and repairing muscle while they slept. What's happening here is directly related to how muscle metabolism works. Your body is constantly in a tug of war between protein synthesis, building, and protein breakdown, catabolism. Whichever side has more input wins. So if you go to bed without adequate amino acid support, especially after training, you're tipping the balance toward breakdown. That's why timing matters. It's not just what you eat during the day, but what you consume in the last 60 to 90 minutes before sleep that can either protect or sacrifice the muscle you've worked so hard to build. Here's a simple tool to apply. If your goal is to preserve or build muscle, especially as you age, Consume 30 to 40 grams of micellar casein protein roughly 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Look for unsweetened or low sugar forms, and ideally combine it with a small dose of healthy fat, like a tablespoon of almond butter, to further slow gastric emptying and enhance absorption. You might ask, isn't eating right before bed bad for metabolism or sleep? That depends entirely on what you eat. Casein is low glycemic, doesn't spike blood sugar, and can actually support deeper sleep in some individuals due to its amino acid profile. So instead of going to bed fasted and risking overnight catabolism, you're giving your body the raw materials it needs to repair and grow muscle while you rest. It's a small shift, but the compound effect over weeks and months is substantial, especially if you're over 40, training regularly, or dealing with muscle recovery issues. If you've ever taken a protein shake and wondered what's actually triggering muscle growth, here's the surprising answer. It's not the total protein. It's a very specific amino acid inside it. That amino acid is leucine. Leucine is one of the 3 branch chain amino acids, BCAAs, but it's the only one with the unique ability to directly activate mTOR, short for mechanistic target of rapamycin, which is the master regulator of muscle protein synthesis. Think of mTOR like a switch in your muscle cells. When it's activated, the body shifts into growth mode. And leucine is the key that turns that switch on. Here's what the research shows. Consuming around 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine at one time can maximally stimulate mTOR activity. This is often referred to as the leucine threshold, the minimum amount needed to trigger muscle growth, especially in older adults, where this threshold is slightly higher due to something called anabolic resistance. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed a leucine-enriched protein blend before bed had significantly greater overnight muscle retention compared to those who consumed a lower leucine mix, even when total protein was the same. So what's the practical implication? Even if you're not eating a full meal or large shake before bed, getting enough leucine, either through food or supplementation, can help you stay in an anabolic state. That means your body keeps building and preserving muscle while you sleep instead of drifting into slow muscle loss. Dosing, here's a simple protocol you can use. If you're using casein protein, make sure it contains at least 2.5 grams of leucine per serving. Most high-quality casein powders do, but it's worth checking the label. Alternatively, you can add a leucine supplement, either as part of a BCAA blend or on its own, alongside a low-calorie bedtime snack. If you prefer whole foods, options like cottage cheese, eggs, or turkey slices provide substantial leucine content without overloading you before sleep. A practical example: 2 boiled eggs plus half cup cottage cheese before bed delivers roughly 3 grams of leucine and provides the slow relief for purified manure isoprofile ideal for overnight recovery. Now, why does this matter beyond just muscle aesthetics? Leucine also supports metabolic health, insulin sensitivity, and even brain function through its role in neurotransmitter synthesis. It's not just about building biceps. It's about maintaining the functional muscle mass that supports balance, bone density, and glucose control, especially as we age. And here's the truth. The average adult loses about 3 to 8% of muscle per decade after age 30. That decline accelerates after 60. But it's not inevitable, especially if you give your body the right molecular tools at the right time. If this insight is helping you, consider subscribing. There's more where this came from. Every week, we explore practical, science-backed tools like this to help you optimize your brain, body, and life. Insulin is one of the most misunderstood hormones when it comes to muscle health, especially at night. Most people associate insulin with blood sugar regulation, and that's true. But insulin also plays a crucial role in muscle protein metabolism. Specifically, it helps shuttle amino acids, the building blocks of muscles, into cells, and it suppresses protein breakdown. In that sense, insulin is anabolic. It helps you build and preserve lean mass. But like any powerful tool, it needs to be used precisely. Because at the wrong time or in the wrong amount, insulin can become a foe to your overnight recovery. Here's what the research shows. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that consuming high glycemic meals before bed led to a sharp rise in insulin, followed by a compensation drop in growth hormone secretion. The very hormone your body relies on to repair tissue, burn fat, and recover while you sleep. Why does that matter? Growth hormone peaks during the first few hours of deep sleep. Plays a major role in muscle remodeling, fat metabolism, and even collagen repair. But elevated insulin, especially from sugar or refined carbs, can blunt that peak, reducing the regenerative benefits of sleep. So we're in a balancing act. We want enough insulin to support amino acid transport and muscle maintenance, but we don't want so much that it crushes our body's natural overnight healing systems. Here's a practical framework. 1, avoid high glycemic foods before bed. That means skipping sugary cereals, white bread, fruit juice, granola bars, or sweetened yogurts. These cause rapid insulin spikes, which then interfere with nocturnal hormonal rhythms. 2, choose low glycemic, protein-forward foods instead. Go for combinations like casein protein, cottage cheese, hard-boiled eggs, or Greek yogurt with chia seeds. These foods provide slow digesting protein with minimal blood sugar disruption, just enough insulin to support muscle maintenance, not enough to suppress growth hormone. 3, add healthy fats for stability. Incorporating a bit of healthy fat, like a spoon of almond butter or some walnuts, can slow glucose absorption and blunt the insulin response, which keeps your hormonal environment stable for better overnight recovery. Let me give you a quick analogy. Imagine insulin as a delivery truck. You want it to arrive on time, carrying amino acids to your muscles, but not crash through the gates while growth hormone is trying to do maintenance work inside. It's about coordination. So if you've been eating a bowl of cereal or having a glass of wine before bed, it's not just your sleep that's affected. It may be subtly sabotaging your muscle mass over time. And the effects compound. A little less growth hormone here, a little more protein breakdown there, weeks become months, and you start wondering why your strength and recovery feel like they're slipping. But the good news? You can change this starting tonight. Create a pre-sleep routine that pairs a moderate dose of slow digesting protein with low glycemic anti-inflammatory nutrients. You'll support insulin's muscle building role without shutting down your body's natural recovery rhythms. Have you ever noticed how your body feels different after a deep, restful night of sleep? More energized, stronger, even subtly leaner? That's not just in your head. It's your biology at work. During high-quality sleep, especially slow-wave, deep sleep, your body enters a state of intense repair. Growth hormone peaks, inflammation decreases, and muscle protein synthesis quietly continues in the background. But there's a hidden barrier many people overlook. If your nervous system is too activated at night from stress, caffeine, blue light, or a poor diet, it interferes with your ability to enter and maintain that critical deep sleep stage. That's where two incredibly powerful yet underappreciated nutrients come in, glycine and magnesium. Let's start with glycine. Glycine is an amino acid that does something fascinating. It lowers core body temperature, a key signal your brain needs to fall into deep sleep. It also acts as a mild inhibitory neurotransmitter, helping quiet the overactive brain circuits associated with stress and rumination. In a 2007 study published in Sleep and Biological Rhythms, participants who consumed just 3 grams of glycine before bed reported significantly better sleep quality, felt more alert in the morning, and had faster sleep onset. This has been replicated in multiple human trials. What's happening in your brain is this. Glycine increases parasympathetic tone, the rest and digest mode of your autonomic nervous system, and decreases sympathetic drive, which is your fight or flight system. This shift promotes deeper sleep and more effective overnight recovery, including muscle tissue repair. Now let's add magnesium to the mix. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions, but one of its most critical roles is regulating GABA, the brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. GABA activation helps reduce neural excitation, making it easier to fall asleep and to stay in the restorative phases of sleep that protect lean muscle mass. But here's what many people don't realize. Even a mild magnesium deficiency, which is extremely common due to soil depletion, processed food, and stress, can lead to sleep fragmentation, nighttime muscle cramps, and increased cortisol levels. And cortisol, as you probably know, is a catabolic hormone. It breaks down muscle tissue when chronically elevated. So when magnesium levels drop, it sets off a chain reaction. Poor sleep, elevated cortisol, greater muscle breakdown overnight. Here's a practical bedtime protocol to try. Glycine plus magnesium combo, 3 to 60. Min before sleep, 300 to 400 milligrams of glycine powder or magnesium glycinate or magnesium threonate, both well absorbed and gentle on the gut. Optionally pair this with a small protein-rich snack like cottage cheese or a scoop of casein, and you have a triple action pre-bed strategy. Support muscle protein synthesis, lower cortisol, enhance deep sleep cycles. And if you prefer food-based sources, glycine is abundant in bone broth, gelatin, and skin of poultry. Magnesium is rich in pumpkin seeds, spinach, almonds, and dark chocolate, though the latter is best consumed earlier in the evening due to caffeine content. One more tip: dim your lights, reduce screen time, and breathe slowly after your glycine magnesium routine. This combination primes your entire system, brain, muscles, and hormones for regeneration. If this kind of deep dive science is resonating with you, feel free to like this video and subscribe. We're building a community focused on turning research into action, one habit at a time. Let's take a step back from nutrients for a moment and look at timing. Because even the healthiest pre-bed snack can backfire if it's mistimed. Your body runs on a 24-hour internal clock, the circadian rhythm, which governs not just sleep and wake cycles, but hormone release, digestion, body temperature, and even muscle metabolism. And one of the most overlooked aspects of muscle preservation is how this biological clock interacts with when you eat, particularly in the evening hours. Here's a key principle. Your body's ability to digest, absorb, and utilize nutrients fluctuates throughout the day, and eating too late, especially within an hour of lying down, can disrupt everything from sleep architecture to overnight protein synthesis. In a 2020 review published in Nutrients, researchers emphasized that late-night eating impairs the nighttime release of melatonin and growth hormone, two hormones essential for sleep depth and muscular recovery. Why? Because digestion is an active metabolic process. If you eat right before bed, your body has to prioritize digestion, not repair. Core body temperature stays elevated. Melatonin release is delayed, and deep sleep becomes more fragmented. That means less muscle regeneration and more potential for overnight catabolism, the breakdown of muscle tissue. So what's the solution? Let's break it down into a simple protocol you can follow. 1. Anchor your last meal 2 to 3 hours before bed. This gives your body enough time to digest most of the calories so you're not metabolically active during the deep sleep window. You're allowing the body to transition from digestion to restoration. Add a light, targeted pre-bed protein snack, optional. If your dinner was more than 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, a small snack like casein protein, cottage cheese, or a collagen glycine mix can top off amino acid levels without overwhelming your digestive system. Think of this like fueling a slow-burning fire overnight, just enough to keep the anabolic processes going without overstimulating your gut. 3. Avoid alcohol and heavy fats in the late evening. Both can delay gastric emptying and interfere with REM and deep sleep.
It stabilizes joints, protects against insulin resistance, produces anti-inflammatory molecules, and supports your immune system. And as we age, the ability to retain and build muscle becomes one of the single greatest predictors of longevity, independence, and quality of life. So the invitation here is simple. Try one of these tools tonight. Maybe that means shifting your last meal earlier. Maybe it means adding a small bowl of oats with pumpkin seeds before bed, or switching your evening protein to casein or collagen. Whatever it is, make it intentional, make it consistent. And over time, your body will respond, not because of willpower, but because biology wants to heal, recover, and adapt when we give it the right signals. This entire time, your brain is active, your hormones are fluctuating, and your muscle tissue is either rebuilding or breaking down, depending on whether you've given your body the right inputs. So if we want to preserve muscle mass, especially as we age, and not just look strong, but stay strong, metabolically healthy, and neurologically sharp, what you eat before bed matters. Let's recap the 6 science-backed tools we've explored. Pre-sleep protein intake, especially slow digesting proteins like casein, can dramatically enhance overnight muscle protein synthesis. Essential amino acids, particularly leucine, act as the spark plugs for anabolic signaling, keeping muscle building pathways like micronutrients like magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D play a quiet but essential role in regulating muscle contraction, hormone balance, and repair. And in the next few years, we're going to see it take center stage in optimizing everything from metabolism to muscle maintenance to mental health. For now, though, the takeaway is simple but powerful. When it comes to preserving your muscle mass, when you eat is just as important as what you eat. And this is especially true after age 40, when circadian rhythms begin to shift and muscle building signals naturally decline. You've probably heard that turkey makes you sleepy, and while that's become a Thanksgiving cliche, it actually points to a deeper scientific truth. The real reason behind that drowsy feeling isn't the turkey itself, it's the amino acid tryptophan. Tryptophan is an essential amino acid, meaning your body can't produce it. You have to get it from your diet. But its effects go far beyond protein synthesis. So tryptophan is the precursor to serotonin, and serotonin is eventually converted into melatonin, the key hormone that signals your brain it's time to sleep. But here's where things get even more interesting. Both serotonin and melatonin don't just support mood and sleep. They also influence muscle repair and anti-catabolic signaling during sleep. Melatonin, for example, has been shown in several animal and human studies to protect muscle tissue from oxidative damage and reduce muscle wasting markers like TNF-alpha and cortisol. A 2011 paper in the Journal of Pineal Research found that melatonin supplementation actually preserved muscle mass and strength in aging rats, even under conditions of stress. And while that study used supplemental melatonin, your body can produce its own if it has adequate tryptophan available at the right time. And what's beautiful about this tool is that it's accessible. You don't need expensive supplements or exotic foods, just a small deliberate shift in your evening nutrition, grounded in biology, supported by science. In a moment, we'll bring this all together in the conclusion, reaffirming the 6 tools, reaffirming the science behind them, and offering a powerful challenge you can implement tonight. Let's step back and look at the big picture. Your body is a system, deeply intelligent, beautifully adaptive, and working around the clock to protect you, repair you, and prepare you for tomorrow. And yet, many people are unknowingly sabotaging one of the most powerful windows for growth and recovery. the hours between when your head hits the pillow and when you wake up. One final thought, optimizing your health isn't about radical overhauls. It's about small, science-backed adjustments repeated with consistency that reshape the architecture of your biology. So if this content gave you clarity or a new tool to work with, I invite you to like the video, share it with someone who cares about their health, and subscribe to this channel because we're diving deeper daily into neuroscience, psychology, and performance tools to help you become stronger physically, emotionally, and mentally. Let's keep building together. So how do you optimize this? Step 1 is to include tryptophan-enriched foods in your evening nutrition. These include turkey and chicken, eggs, especially yolks, cheddar or Parmesan, pumpkin seeds, oats, tofu, and tempeh. But here's the critical nuance. Tryptophan competes with other amino acids to cross the blood-brain barrier. That means if you eat a heavy mixed protein meal, tryptophan can get crowded out and never make it to your brain where it's needed for serotonin and melatonin synthesis. This is where carbohydrates come into play. Carbs trigger insulin, which shuttles competing amino acids into the muscles, temporarily clearing the way for tryptophan to enter the brain more easily. That's why having a small, balanced carb plus tryptophan-rich snack in the evening can actually support better sleep, deeper recovery, and more efficient overnight muscle maintenance. Here's a simple pre-sleep snack option. A small bowl of oats with pumpkin seeds and a sprinkle of cinnamon, or a slice of whole grain toast with a slice of turkey, or Greek yogurt with banana slices, which adds magnesium and potassium as well. Each of these provides the necessary amino acids and a light carb source to amplify serotonin and melatonin production without the heavy calorie load that disrupts digestion. What's happening in your brain and body with this strategy is profound. Tryptophan crosses into the brain more easily, serotonin levels rise, calming your mood, reducing evening anxiety, melatonin synthesis ramps up, helping you fall asleep faster. During sleep, melatonin acts as a muscle protective antioxidant. Overnight, muscle breakdown is reduced, while repair processes are optimized. It's like giving your nervous system the signal to switch into full regenerative mode, both mentally and physically. Avoiding high glycemic inflammatory foods in the evening prevents hormonal disruptions that accelerate muscle loss and degrade sleep quality. Circadian aligned eating. Finishing meals 2 to 3 hours before bed aligns digestion with your body's repair systems, maximizing deep sleep and recovery. Tryptophan-rich foods paired with light carbohydrates enhance natural serotonin and melatonin production, calming the nervous system and activating muscle-preserving sleep states. These are not just dietary tips. They're protocols grounded in neuroscience, nutrition, and physiology. They're tools you can use tonight to signal to your body, now is the time to repair. Now is the time to protect my strength. Because here's the truth. Muscle isn't just about physical appearance. Muscle is a biological currency. Alcohol may help you fall asleep faster, but it significantly reduces muscle repairing sleep stages and increases overnight dehydration, which can increase muscle cramping and cortisol by morning. So here's a quick analogy. If your body is a construction site for muscle tissue, sleep is when the night crew comes in. But if you're still digesting a big meal, it's like having delivery trucks clogging up the site. The workers can't get to the repair work efficiently. By aligning your evening nutrition with your body's circadian timing, you're essentially flipping on the anabolic switch at exactly the right moment when your body is most primed for recovery, not digestion. This idea is part of a broader science called chrononutrition, the study of how food timing interacts with your biological clock.